Boom. Welcome back, man. Two days. Second video of the day, man. This video is gonna piss some people off, particularly some parents. It's gonna piss a lot of people off. But I'm gonna wait till we get to the 30-second mark, because what I've learned is that perhaps if I don't start cursing until I get 30 seconds in, YouTube will not suppress my video. Okay, but today I want to talk about gentle parenting. Okay, I want to talk about gentle parenting and why it's important, and why I really do believe it should be the only parenting style. I think we just call it gentle parenting because it's a reaction to old parenting styles. But to me, gentle parenting is parenting. Okay, so for those of you guys who don't know, gentle parenting is one in which you don't spank your kids. That's the baseline. For some parents, it's we don't spank or raise our voice. But gentle parenting in general just means, hey, we are not going to parent through abuse. We are not going to parent through pain. We believe that we don't need to use pain to teach our children lessons, to discipline them. And so, again, the baseline is we definitely do not spank or hit our children. Now, a lot of people think that gentle parenting is weak. They think it's wrong. And one of the issues that I got with gentle parenting is I need to see more fathers come out and talk about why gentle parenting is good. Because once fathers start endorsing gentle parenting, there's really no more resistance to it. Because women, a lot of mothers prefer gentle parenting. Now, let's be clear. I'm not about to sit here and talk about how women are angels, okay? If you guys follow my channel or know me at all, you know I grew up with an abusive mother. So I'm not about to come on here and cape for women. I know what it's like to have an abusive mother, to have a mom who used spankings to teach lessons. I know what it's like to have someone who was raised in that environment and who only knows that. And I'm not going to be the one to sit here and make it seem like all mothers are great. No. Motherhood is like anything else. Half of them are good and great, and half of them suck. Actually, probably more than half of them suck. And the reason why I think that is because I think most humans suck at being human. And a lot of that has to do with the functioning of society and how we live in a society and a culture that has stripped meaning out of existence. And it's taken infinity, it's taken existence, it's taken meaning out of existence, and now it's trying to sell it back to us. It's trying to sell us back to us in entertainment, in politics, and whatever. And so fundamentally, I think a lot of humans are just bad humans because we have a legal system, an economic system, and a society that is literally built off of inhumane logic. And so what I did was I drafted a manifesto, and it's the Overman's Manifesto. You can look at it in the description. One of the things that I talk about early on in the Overman's Manifesto is that I genuinely believe the next generation of leadership needs to focus on the children. If we provide the best society for the greatest number of children, everything is almost guaranteed to work out. Why? Well, a lot of that is built upon the foundation that I lay in the Overman's Manifesto. In the Overman's Manifesto, I lay out this idea that reality, existence itself, is made up of three things: self, society, and the unknown. Okay? The unknown in society, they sound exactly like what they are, right? But I go deep into it. But the self, I really break the self down into three parts, right? The self is part universal consciousness, part the body, and part your environment, okay? All three of these things form a you, form a self, right? And so the number one thing that a self does, that a human being does, is it identifies itself, what it means to be itself, right? We all are the main characters of this thing called reality. Every single one of us has the starring role in reality, right? And part of understanding that is this understanding of universal consciousness. Now, part of the unknown is the fact that we don't fully understand consciousness. Part of the unknown, and the reason why some people think the unknown is like this philosophical escape hatch of like, oh, everything we don't know about, we just put it over there. But in the manifesto, I propose that no, listen, human beings see less than 1% of the electromagnetic spectrum. Human beings hear less than 1% of all sound waves. Most stars in the galaxy we can't see. 95% of the universe is dark energy and dark matter. No, the unknown is the majority of reality. And we need to learn how to engage in what we do not know and what we do not understand if we are going to survive. As a matter of fact, the entirety of humanity, of human history, are humans engaging with what they don't understand. That's how we survive. When we try to lock everything into the known, when we try to force everything into what we already know, that's how we destroy society, right? This is why the idea of like make America great again, it is faulty logic on so many different ideologies, because it's like, no. The path for humanity has always been forward. The path is always, we have to go forward. We have to go into what we don't know, to what we don't understand. And technology is moving at a rate right now that we have to get leadership and parentings and parents who are willing to walk the next generation of people through the unknown, through territories that they don't understand. So they got to learn how to engage with new information. They got to learn how to engage with new systems and new ideas on the fly. And so when we start talking about gentle parenting, again, I told you I'm gonna go deep in this shit. When we start talking about gentle parenting, I put the parenting part in the universal consciousness section. Now, the reason I do that is because I need people to your take about parenting, about spanking, really comes down to, what do you believe children are? And for me, I believe that every human being is the universe getting to know itself. We are just as much as part of the universe as the sun in the sky. We are just as much as part of the universe as every black hole. The difference between us and the sun is we can ask why. The difference between us and a black hole is we can ask how come or what's next. We are the universe getting to know itself. Every human being alive is the universe getting to know itself. This is why there's no one singular purpose. This is why some of you niggas want to explore rocks for your whole life, and I don't give a fuck about rocks. This is why some of you guys want to study whatever you study, and I don't care about it, and there's things that I'm passionate about that you're not passionate about. Why? The universe is trying to get to know itself through each and every single one of us. So when a child comes into existence, right? When we have sex, another thing I talk about in the manifesto, how we talk all this, will AI gain consciousness? Will AI gain consciousness? No. The only way you gain consciousness is back shots. The only way you gain consciousness is sex. All right? Back shots create consciousness. So when children are being born, children are a manifestation of the universe getting to know itself. Your child is becoming something. It's not that your child is going to become a doctor or a lawyer or successful or rich or whatever they become. They are becoming that now. Their path to 35, to 45, to 21, it starts, hey, my nigga, this is my lane. You can't drift over here, dog. When your child is born, this is the universe getting to know itself, okay? So a big part of gentle parenting has to do with, what is your philosophy about children? And I talk about this in the manifesto, is how a lot of the people who spank, they just do so because they've never been shown another way. They don't know that there's another way that you can discipline your child. They don't know that positive reinforcement is objectively the best way to discipline a child. Objectively speaking, like the data is in. Positive reinforcement is the best form of behavior modification for a child, for employees, for a nation, for anything, right? And so once you have a philosophy about what a child is, it's like, wait a second, this is not some human that I'm just here to, tell what to do, and I need to make them convenient for me, because a lot of parents parent for their own convenience. So it's not that the child crying is a problem. It's just that you don't like the sound of the child crying, or that the child crying makes you feel like a bad parent. Or it's not that the child is upset or angry. It's that the child doesn't know what to do with their anger. But you spanking them is not going to teach them what to do with their anger. The question is, do you know what to do with your anger? What do you do with your anger? Right? In my household, you can feel every emotion. I don't care. My children know you can be mad at me. You can be disappointed at me. You can be sad at me. What we have to work on is, how do you express that? Right? When they're young, I have a 10-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 3-year-old, and my 9-year-old is nonverbal and autistic. So our job as parents is to guide these beings, guide these manifestations of the universe. We need to guide them into their own becoming. Something you got to think about as a parent, your child is only a child for 18 years. So I had my oldest daughter at 24. Let's say I'm going to die at 74. Let's make it a nice even 50 years. Let's say I'm going to die at 74, okay? That means that for the 50 years that I'm going to know my oldest daughter, only 18 of those she's going to be a child. 32 of those years, 32 years of our relationship is going to be her as her own independent person, of which I have no control or authority over. When you live in a society that abuses power, any type of power people don't know how to use, and any type of power people abuse. This is why children don't have human rights in our country. This is why in our country, if a child's rights gets violated, they force a child to get a lawyer. Children are the only groups of people in this country who are not legally allowed to earn wages. Why do they have to purchase a lawyer? Why can't a parent plead their child's case on their behalf? My child is a literal physical manifestation of myself. Half of my child's DNA is 50% me. When a parent is defending their child, they are defending themselves, which is the argument that I made to the Ninth Circuit Court, case 24-789. Again, I believe this shit. I was arguing this shit a year ago. But we live in a society that does not respect children as manifestations of the universe. They do not respect children as human beings. But you got to understand, you're going to know your child, Lord willing, hopefully, for your entire life, and most of theirs. And most of that relationship is going to be an adult relationship. So when I look at my child, and here's what I know from growing up with an abusive parent. Me and my mom are on a first name basis. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that she won't acknowledge that aspect of my existence. There's a whole 18 years, right? And typically abusive parents don't. There's a whole 18 years of my existence that you refuse to acknowledge because you were too busy trying to control me. You weren't trying to discipline. You weren't trying to teach me lessons. I don't learn shit, right? You have never received a calm spanking in your life. The body is not able to learn a lesson while it's enduring trauma. The body is not able to process information at the same way when it's being threatened, when its livelihood is being threatened. And when you are a child being spanked, you literally think you are going to die. You literally think like, I don't know. And you don't even understand death at that age. Death is not a concept you understand as a child. But spiritually speaking, there were times when you were spanked where how you feel about when somebody dies today, that's exactly how you felt when you got spanked. Or when you get into a dangerous situation today, and now that you understand what death is, right? That was what's happening when you were oftentimes with children. And so when it comes to gentle parenting, this has deeper, it's not just I don't spank my child. is that I have deep convictions about what children are. I have deep convictions about what humanity is. And I have deep convictions about the relationship between what a parent and a child is. Most people who spank their children have no convictions about parenting, have no conviction about children, and have no convictions about what it means to be human. That's the core issue that we got to get to us who believe in gentle parenting. We can't just tell people, because every parent knows. It's understood. The first law of parenting is don't tell another parent how to parent their child, right? That's like the first unwritten rule of parenting. So we can't just be telling parents, stop spanking your child. We have to give them a philosophy to live by. We have to give them a creed. We have to give them a framework for them to understand. Listen, you can't learn love through trauma, right? You have to invite them into where you want them to go. You want your child to be disciplined? Invite them into discipline. You want your child to process their emotions, right? So my 2-year-old, from 2 years old on, I have been teaching my daughters how do you process your emotions? Are you sad right now? Okay, if you can't articulate that, go in your room. You can cry in your room. Your room is your safe place. I'm giving them that framework right now so that when they are adults, they do not compromise their safe place. They are cautious with who they invite into their home. Oh, it's deep, guys. Gentle parenting is deep because it forces you to be deep. Because remember, when you spank, you're acting out of emotion. You're not acting logically. What I used to hate as a child is when parents just go, I'm just doing this because I love you. No, you're not. You're doing this because you're angry, and I can see that. And when you tell a child that you're doing this because you love them, and you're really doing this because you're frustrated, angry, or annoyed at the child, and the child can see that, you are denying that child's existence. And when that child becomes an adult, they are going to have all these issues. They're not going to know how to exist. They're going to feel shame. They're going to have low self-esteem. They're going to feel like something is wrong with them being alive. Just existing is like there's going to be a melancholy to their existence, and they don't know where it came from. It came because you taught them that as a parent. Okay? So that's all I want to talk about with gentle parenting today, is that if we are going to, and we need to, right? Because it's not that children are the future. Children are the present now. They are, what children represent is the most updated version of the universe. We know this for a fact, that the universe is always expanding. We know the universe is expanding. Children are how that is the most present form of the universe. And so when I see children doing school shootings, I don't think we get it as a nation. That is us slowing the universe down. That is us collapsing the universe in and on itself. And a lot of these children, they're not growing up in gentle households. So when they face a world that challenges them, the only thing they know how to do is be violent. Because that's all they were shown, was violence. They were shown violence. You taught them that when somebody does something wrong, use violence. You taught them that when you make somebody mad, violence. That's what you're teaching people. That's what you're teaching people. Because children grow up to become people. Children grow up to become, regular, to become adults. When you spank children, you are teaching adults that the way that they solve problems is with violence. And if you do that, the people who are willing to do the most violence will get to the top of society. It's that deep. I told y'all this is going to be a good one. All right, love you guys. Bye.